This is Fitness Blender's strength training for fat loss. In this workout, we're going to be doing 14 repetitions of 8 different exercises, and we're going to be going through 3 rounds. The total time is about 26 minutes, and make sure you add in a warm-up and a cool-down on your own, as it's not included in this routine. You're going to need various weights of dumbbells or an adjustable dumbbell set for this routine. Let's go ahead and get started with round number 1. Our first exercise is the bicep curl plus a kick. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So that curl motion, bring those dumbbells up to that shoulder nice and tight, keeping those elbows back behind that rib cage. At the same time, you're going to do a kick. So try to keep your torso as straight up and down as you can, and alternate back and forth between legs, bringing one up at a time, kicking it straight out in front of you, nice slow controlled motion, then nice and slow back down at the same time as bringing those dumbbells back down. Just keep that motion going nice and slow under control, trying to get as full range of motion out of that arm and that leg as you can. That was your last one right there. Let's go and move on to the next one, the bridge with a skull crusher. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. That bridge motion is squeezing those hips up really nice and high, putting all that pressure into those heels. And then that skull crusher is keeping that upper arm straight up and down from on top of that shoulder, and then extending that arm from by your head all the way straight up over top of that shoulder and nice and slow back down. You want to try to get as much range of motion out of those arms as you can. So if you want to keep those hands split apart, you can actually get those hands down by those ears. Otherwise, you can keep those hands squeezed together and you'll bring them right over top of that forehead, then press them right back up again. Just try to keep that upper arm as straight up and down as you can, at the same time as squeezing those hips as tight as possible. Just 2 more repetitions. Last one, tight squeeze. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We're doing the leg lift chest press crunch. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. We've actually got 3 different motions going on here. That leg lift with a chest press, and then crunching up at the top. So that leg lift is just drop those legs down as far as is comfortable, trying not to let that lower back lift off the ground. That chest press is more kind of like a chest fly. Those arms come straight out to the sides, right back over top of that chest. And then once you get up to the top, those legs are straight up and those arms are over top of that chest. You're actually going to do like a toe touch crunch and push those dumbbells up towards those ankles or up towards those toes. Now it's really important when you're doing this exercise to really watch those legs, watch that lower back. Only drop those legs as far as you can control, otherwise you might actually stress that lower back if it lifts up too much off the ground. So keep those abs really nice and tight, shoving that belly button and that back flat down against that mat, only letting those legs drop out until that lower back starts to lift a little bit, then pull those legs right back in. And just 2 more repetitions. Drop those legs down, those arms out, and crunch it up nice and high. We got 1 more to go. Those legs and arms go back down, and crunch it back up. Nice tight squeeze, and let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise, the deadlift reverse fly. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Keeping that back perfectly flat, you're going to tip forward from that hip. Once you get down to about parallel to the ground, you're going to bring those arms up and out to the side, straight out from those shoulders as high as you possibly can. Nice and slow, dropping back down in front of that chest, and then stand back up, hinging only from that hip joint. Remember, you want to keep that back perfectly flat. To do that, it'll actually help a little bit if you tilt that chest forward, like you're actually trying to tilt it up towards the wall in front of you. Now, if you want to actually lower the tension on that back a little bit, you can actually bend those knees out. Keep that a little slight bend in that knee to make it a little bit easier for that deadlift motion. The straight leg deadlift like we're doing here is actually a little bit harder than doing a regular deadlift with your knees bent. So just focus on keeping that back nice and flat, those knees as straight as is comfortable, And then when you do that reverse fly motion, just a little bit of a bend in your elbow and trying to get those arms as high as you can without swinging. And just 2 more repetitions. Keep focusing on keeping that back nice and flat. As you get more tired, it's going to want to round on you. This is your last repetition right here. And let it relax. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next exercise, the side leg lifts with an overhead press. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Go ahead and bring those hands up to about shoulder height. You're going to press those dumbbells straight up over top of your shoulder, end with your elbow almost completely straight. You want to keep that elbow just a little bit soft. Don't lock it out. Then nice and slow back down to shoulder height, all at the same time as lifting that leg, one leg at a time, out to the side. Let's go ahead and switch sides. We're going to do the same motion with that opposite leg this time. We're nice and slow. Press those arms up as that leg comes up. And as those arms come back down, that leg slowly comes back down. Just make sure you're keeping that motion nice and slow under control. The slower you go, the easier it's going to be for balance, but it's actually going to be harder for endurance. And that was your last one right there. Go ahead and let it relax. We're going to switch over to the next exercise, arm circles with butt kicker march. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. Get those feet going, kicking that butt back and forth, just alternating each foot. Getting those arms swinging. You want to make a nice circle right around that shoulder joint. You don't want to do a low circle down by your chest. You actually want it really, really nice and high up around that shoulder joint. You want the top of that circle actually over top of your shoulder and the lower part of that circle just about armpit level. Just make sure you keep that pace nice and even. We're almost done with this one. We're going to switch direction on those arms in just a second. And go and reverse the direction on those arms and switch from a butt kicker to a high knee march. So those knees are going to come up straight in front of that body, just walking back and forth, just doing a marching motion. Same thing, keeping those arms going in that nice circle, just in the opposite direction you were doing before. Almost done, just a few seconds left. And let it relax. All right, let's go and move on to the next one, the lunge with a lateral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. You're doing a reverse lunge, so you're actually going to be stepping back behind you to do this lunge. As you step back and lunge down, those arms are going to come straight up out to your sides. You're going to stop just about shoulder height. If you want to push them up a little bit higher than that, that's perfectly fine, but you don't want to go all the way over your head. Just keep that hand just about shoulder height. And then focus on that lunging motion. Every time you step back behind you, you want to try to make sure that your weight is evenly dispersed from front to back leg, and you want to make sure you're alternating those legs every single time. And that was your last repetition right there. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. This is a side squat with a ventral raise. Go ahead and get ready. And begin. So you're going to squat down, stepping off to the left and then off to the right. At the same time as you squat down, you want to bring those dumbbells straight up in front of that chest so they're coming straight off of that shoulder. Now, every single time you go down, that chest is actually going to tip forward just a little bit to help you kick those hips back behind you as far as you can to make sure you're keeping that weight